This Cookout Clash 2026 DFS Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states, and you get $20 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and in fine NASCAR fashion, if you want extreme weather in your city, all you have to do is schedule a NASCAR race, Cody.
That's it. It's that simple, Brad. So that's all you got to do.
Are you living in an area? Listen, let me help people out, right? Are you living in an area with very little rainfall? Do you wish that your could get watered? Well, have a NASCAR race and you will soon learn what precipitation actually means.
Facing drought,
yeah,
potential potato famine? Just call NASCAR.
Hello, NASCAR. I'd like to schedule a race. Our crops need water.
We got you. We'll bring you all the precipitation you need.
It's insane. So, again, if you don't know what we're talking about, obviously, welcome to Clash Weekend. Maybe. Like I said yesterday, maybe. We learned, Cody, that Saturday.
It is.
Okay.
The Clash is going to happen. It's more than hope. It's going to happen. It's a matter of when will it happen, I think is the biggest question. So if you've not caught up on the news, if you've not seen, they have scrapped Saturday's event. They're getting rid of the modified stuff. That's all going to be postponed to a later date. And everything right now is scheduled for Sunday. Now, currently, there is forecasting for 5 to 12 inches of snow on Saturday. So, that's going to be tough. Now, if that all happens on Saturday, and again, it depends on timing, right? And maybe that's earlier in the day. They've got time to treat stuff in the evening through the nighttime. But the biggest issue, more so than getting the track clear, probably not the biggest issue, right? That's not going to take that much. Again, they've got the wet weather tires if they need them. Being able to get the roads clear, to get, safety personnel there, the people that work the track, the fans, all of that stuff, probably the bigger question, right? So 5 inches of snow, a lot different than 12 inches of snow. Again, ask your wives. But 5 inches can be easier to get rid of quicker, whereas 12 might take a little longer. So it depends where we fall in that, right? And what we actually end up getting. So all up in the air. So currently, everything is scheduled for Sunday. If they're not able to do Sunday, my guess, and from seeing Bob's kind of stuff on Twitter, they'll probably push it to Monday, right? And if Monday doesn't work, maybe Tuesday, even into Wednesday. But I feel okay about Sunday. I feel pretty good about Monday or Tuesday, likely being when the Clash is. So the schedule of events will be practice and qualifying. Currently, as of right now, practice and qualifying 2 to 4 Eastern time, Sunday on FS2. They are scratching the heat races. Those are now gone. So your third practice session will be your qualifying session as well. The fastest 22 drivers from that the fastest 20 drivers from that lock in to the main event. Then everybody else goes to the last chance qualifier. They will run the 100-lap last chance qualifier, 6 o'clock Eastern time on Fox, current schedule. They'll run that. 2 drivers will advance from that. And then, of course, you'll have your 1 driver who gets the provisional highest finisher from last year's points. Kyle Larson, then again, being the only one locked in. And then the clash is scheduled for 8 o'clock Eastern time on Fox on Sunday. Current plans, again, you're going to stay tuned because I'm sure things will continue to change and be fluid throughout this fluid weekend.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep an eye on everything. Obviously, as Ryan 1738 saying, or Rin 1738 saying 5 inches in Winston Salem, like 36 inches in New York. I mean, it's kind of true, but
well,
yes. Here we are.
As in you can't handle 5 inches, or as in you measure differently. I mean, I guess I don't know what that means.
Well, I'll explain it to you after this because I want to remind you before we get all going on. You got to get easy access to all of our picks and podcasts in one convenient app. It is, and you can download that SGPN app. It's available for free in your app store. You can go listen to Cody, who just wrapped up with Justin over on Old Fashioned. And of course, last night was on the Big Show. You want those? Those are all in on the SGPN app. So go make sure you download that. And we want to welcome to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast family, Win the Race. You can now, or we are now proudly partnered with Win the Race, professional NASCAR strategy platform. Make sure you head over there. Models are over there. There's DFS help over there. We've had Ryan on the show before, and he's one of the co-founders of Win the Race. This is a valuable source for all of your NASCAR knowledge. So make sure you're going to check them out. wintherace.info. 1000% happy to be on board with them. This is a brand new thing that we're doing. And these guys are amazing.
I'm so excited for that partnership. It's going to be great. They're going to be helping us out, providing statistics, providing key details for us. We'll obviously share some of that stuff here on the podcast, and it'll help us, as we make our picks. But if you really want to go balls deep and get into it, those guys over there Win the Race. He runs thousands and thousands of simulations, gives you out what, actual odds are compared to what the odds are, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you check out their stuff. We're going to have Ryan on the show here in the next couple of weeks as well, for sure. So
we sure will. So to get back to that 5-inch conversation, listen, there's 5 inches in the, I've been to upstate New York. I know that doggone snow up there, everybody knows how to handle, but like Rin says, Tennessee is not equipped to handle even 2 inches of snow. Everybody loses their mind. Nobody can drive in it. And this is what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I lived in Mississippi when I was in the military. We were stationed down on the Gulf of Mississippi there. And when we would get ice, everything would shut down because they're just, they don't have the equipment. They're not equipped to handle that kind of stuff. 5 to 12 inches of snow here in Nebraska is really not, it changes some plans for the day, but a lot of stuff just kind of continues as usual. We're pretty used to it. We had an inch of snow this morning. Nothing changed. Like, school's still on time. Everything's fine. But not everywhere is equipped with that. I was not aware of the Winston-Salem area or what they usually get. So obviously maybe they're not so much used to that. So in that case, if 5 inches is like 36, hopefully they don't get 12 inches, Rod, or we ain't racing.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like the fan aspect of this. We could run a COVID race where nobody's in the stands, but I don't think anybody wants that. And I feel like if
I would take that. I would take it over nothing. You can still watch it on TV, but we'll see. I think that they will try and do everything. It's close to the shops. Again, you're not in California. You don't have to make the haul back. There isn't a race next weekend with the Super Bowl, so you do have some leeway time in there. I think they'll do their best. If Sunday, and again, weather forecasts can be crazy, can be different things. I've not really looked much into it. I don't know what the temperature is. Sometimes they'll tell us we're going to get a bunch of snow, and then we end up getting rain instead because the temperature fluctuations or whatever. So we'll just have to see. You never know, especially with winter weather, what it's going to end up being. If it ends up being on the lighter side, great. We're going to be racing on Sunday. If not, hopefully Monday, Tuesday, they'll be able to get it in. In any case, you're not going to have the heat races. I know Willow was checking in earlier, hit me up, and was checking on the YouTube too, kind of wondering what the betting implications are for this. So we were only betting on Willow, big Ty Gibbs fan, by the way, Rod. So that's awesome.
Sorry,
So we're already only, the bets are for the main race, right? So that's not changing. The one difference is previously you were going to have practice qualifying the heat, so you would have known 20 of the drivers in the field Saturday, and then we would have till Sunday before the rest, so maybe some odds would come back out. Now, doing it all on the same day, likely I doubt we'll get odds between, a short practice and qualifying, last chance, and into the race. Probably not going to be anything pop up, so I'd place your bets earlier. Again, you have to check with your books independently. Caesars has very nicely posted it right there. These bets will stand if they race this year, basically. So you'll be fine if you place the bets over there. If it's somewhere else, I don't remember all the books rules. I believe it was FanDuel that was like, if it's not within 24 hours of the scheduled time, they change it, or, they cancel the bets. So check with the books, all that stuff. Make sure your bets are in. But I would also place your bets ahead of time. Yes, you're not going to know if your driver makes it. Other than Kyle Larson, he's locked in. But otherwise, you might not get a chance to bet on, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you.
You mean to tell me, Cody, you don't automatically have all the rules to every book up in your head? Like what kind of handicap are you?
Greg, check out Greg. He's probably got a post up with it because he's got all those rules and knows all that stuff. He's also a lawyer, so he's very smart. Great follow, by the way. And he's part of the Win the Race team, I believe, as well. Greg is. So he's a great dude, and he really does know in depth all those rules. I've done a piece on Sports Gambling Podcast website before, but again, books change the rules and stuff. So just check into it is what I'm saying.
Indeed. Racing Paradise checking in saying, what up, fellas? Good show. Thank you so much. We already did a good show, Cody. Good job. We'll see.
Let's get out of here before we ruin it.
I love that. No, right. Only downhill from here. Dustin Early checking in saying, snow race. Let's go. Hey. LOL. But listen, it could be the
chains on them tires. Derby. Let's go.
I said that yesterday. We should put chains.
Yes.
But no, this is the true snowball derby.
We do have, again, part of this is we do have the wet weather tires. So maybe they just decide to roll with it on Sunday. It ends up being limited fans, whatever the case might be. I mean, they've shown willingness to adapt in these situations. We had the massive flooding in Los Angeles a couple years ago. They just moved it up to Saturday suddenly. Let's get it in, let fans in for free, whatever the case was. Yes, it wasn't a perfect weekend. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes with this type of thing. But if they can get it in, they will. They would be able to use the wet weather tires here because it's very, very short track, just a quarter mile. So if you can get the snow off of the track and we just have some wet, that's fine as long as it's not continually snowing or whatever. Again, it's probably more about safety personnel, track officials, stuff like that, all being able to get there in a fairly safe manner. I believe the teams are already in the area. So that probably not much of an issue, and they're just down the road anyways, but we'll see.
Yep. And there's no Hauler Parade. So if you were waiting for a Hauler Parade, that's not going to happen. So unfortunately, I will say this, though, that we're going to operate under the precipice that this race will happen. We are holding out hope that it does. And so everything we say, take it with a grain of salt, too.
I mean, that's all you can do, right? Is just let's prepare for it like it's going to happen. If it ends up not happening, we had fun talking about it. We had fun preparing for it. Great test run for Daytona. Here we are. I think they're going to get it in.
West, right? Get the dust out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we had a pretty good show yesterday. Felt good. Back in the groove. So Ryan with a good point. Went ahead and placed some bets on Larson, thinking maybe they'll cancel qualifying. Starts P1. I don't know that they would just set it based on the points, but if it came down to it and it's like, oh, let's just squeeze this in, maybe they would go with something like that, or just winners from last, or previously the clash was just people who had won polls over the last year, and then former champions and stuff I think were in or whatever. But yeah, and I think we'll get some version of stuff in. It's probably gonna be without the heat races at this point, based on how they've kind of done it. So yeah, and Willow said all the cars are at the convention center 5 miles away, so they're there, they're ready to go. They're gonna do everything they can to get it in. Obviously, with these winter storms, things can change, things can happen. Just have to play it by ear, but we'll continue to operate as normal. We're going to be talking DFS here in just a second. We'll set all that up, obviously. That's just for the main event anyways. The heat races wouldn't have played a part in that. So we can have that conversation because if the race happens, it's likely going to be pretty close to what we're talking about. So that's what we're looking for.
Telling you right now, there is no weather in Los Angeles right now. The Clash of the Coliseum could have gone out without a hitch.
No racetrack.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But they can move it there. I'm just whatever. I'm not bitter. I wanted to actually go to one this time around, and I obviously can't do it. So, all right. Let's talk DFS. That is exactly the reason why we are here. But before we do any of that, please let me tell you about our friends over at Avo. Make more money betting sports with Avo. That's AVO. Avo is the best sports betting tool. It's got to help you make a profit every time you decide to place your bets. They do this by spotting arbitrage and plus EV opportunities for you faster than the competition. They keep you organized in one place. You don't know what arbitrage betting is? Well, you're finding opportunities in the market where you bet both sides to lock in a profit. Plus, they got the cleanest dashboard. You can see it right there. That thing is beautiful. It's so easy to use and it's so easy to understand. Even I can do it. But if they can't, and if you can't, they teach you how to use it with step-by-step video guides in case you have any questions. Just sign up, pick the sports book you use, and let Avo tell you how much to bet to guarantee a profit. Are you still unsure? How can you be? But if you are, you can check out the free Discord at Avo Official. That's AVO Official, and see the success people are having for themselves. Get started at avo.bet. Use promo code SGPN for $18 off. That's avo.bet. Promo code SGPN for $18 off. Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. That means in all 50 states, you can trade on tons of markets and sports, including the NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and so much more. Plus, you can even trade props like first TDs. Besides sports, they've got tons of other markets, including politics, entertainment. Hell, you can even trade on the weather, which is the hottest topic in NASCAR right now. With Kalshi, you can trade on absolutely anything. Don't believe me? Well, the Super Bowl is coming up. You could do a lot of things with the Super Bowl, but Kalshi's giving you the opportunity to place your money on whether or not Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to get an anytime touchdown. If you believe that he is, look at this is a 50-50 prop, or 50-50 market for these. A yes is 51 cents, a no is 50 cents. So a $100 investment will get you $197 if you believe that he does. Or if you do believe that he's not going to get an anytime touchdown, a $100 investment will get you $200 on Kalshi. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. So the question is, Cody, do you think your Patriots can keep JSN out of the end zone?
I do. I think Christian Gonzalez. You would have had a better passer rating throughout 3 games in the playoffs, spiking the ball every play. Your passer rating would have been 39.6. If you threw the ball to Christian Gonzalez, your passer rating was 39.0. So he's been pretty solid. I think he will lock down JSN.
Good. I hope so, and I hope he locks down the entire Seahawks offense just by himself.
Real quick on the Patriots note, still got my jersey on. I wore it on Old Fashioned Football a few minutes ago. They're checking in the chat. Go when you're done with this. Go check that out. Old Fashioned Football. I was on there with Justin. Unfortunately, his better half, Miranda, missed this evening, but that's all right. We held down the fort. Talked about next week. Don't worry, Seahawks fan. They're going to have a why the Seattle Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. Probably be full of lies. But we did a why the Patriots will win the Super Bowl tonight. That was a ton of fun. So yeah, go over and check out that conversation. And yeah, it was a good time.
Yep, and Rin's saying NASCAR is going to prioritize that Sunday TV slot over everything else. Reason they don't start early on Sundays to avoid weather in the past. I mean, that is absolutely true. But
they do have like shuttle services set up already to shuttle people into the track that, because parking is going to be an issue with the weather stuff. Like they've got some stuff in place. Again, if it's closer to the 5 inches, I think that it's going to be fine. If it's closer to the 12 inches, it could just create so many more problems that they have to push it back. But they will try and get it done for the television slot especially. So that's a great point. Indeed.
Just to get back to the old-fashioned football thing, it's funny watching you and Justin on a podcast together, because it's like it would be like a coaching tree or whatever the
Bill that's Belichick the Rod Villagomez coaching tree.
It's so weird to watch my former assistant coaches going off.
Your proteges on the we've sprouted wings and we're doing a show together now.
Makes me all proud and warm inside. I love it. Now, granted, I will never be voted into the Hall of Fame, so me and Bill Belichick have that in common as well. So
wow. Yeah. Is there a Hall of Fame? I don't think baseball or football has a Hall of Fame, Rod. Sad.
Yeah. No, they don't. Well. Neither one of them do. And I know podcasting certainly does not have a Hall of Fame, so we're good there too.
If it did, you'd be in it. But
thank you. All right. Listen, so let's talk about this DFS part of the clash at Bowman Gray. As Cody has alluded to before, this will be for the main event, which is only a 200-lap shootout. Obviously, this is not a long short track race, nor is it one that's normal at all. given that there will only be 23 competitors on the track for the main event. And of course, we know that only green flag laps count. And we know, of course, they're going to stop halfway through for a scheduled pit stop caution type of a halftime. So this race in and of itself, Cody, offers a lot of variance in that. One, you don't know if everybody is going to make the race. Two, when you're lining these guys up for DFS purposes, obviously there's not a lot of laps to lead. There's not a lot of positions that are usually gained in this. So what's important is, yes, we're going to give you, like we always do, the initial thoughts on who we think are going to be good. But this race, more than ever, you kind of have to pay attention to where they're starting, because unless you're Ryan Blaney, you're not gaining 20 spots in a race and finishing in second. A lot of times these guys started in 7th, finished in 4th, right? So it's
I don't know, Rod.
Only
So
a few did.
Looking back at last year, because that's obviously the best. There's been one race here in this format, right? So that's what we have to look at. Like you said, just 23 drivers are going to be in it. So don't set your lineup beforehand and forget about it, because you have to know which 23 drivers are going to be in, right? Again, Kyle Larson, the only one that's locked in. Somebody like a Ryan Blaney, who had issues last year, would not make it if Larson needed to use the provisional or whatever. So that's part of it, right? And it's so 3 practice sessions is how they're going to determine who gets in there. The third, so there's, I think was it 3 different practice like 3 different groups, and they each get 3 sessions. On the third session, they'll be timing everyone, and they'll take best lap from all 3 sessions, right? Fastest driver is going to start on the pole. Second fastest will start second. Your top 20 will all lock in that way. The others have to race in through the last chance qualifier. Then you'll have that one provisional. So yeah, it's a limited field already. So you need to know who's in, where they're going to be starting, all that stuff. So looking at last year, Chase Elliott started on the pole. He led 171 laps, won the race. So obviously he was a big player there. Ryan Blaney started in 23rd and found his way all the way up to second place. That's huge, place differential. That's why we have this show before the Daytona 500, so we can remember words like place differential or phrases. Anyways, so big place differential. Then Denny Hamlin, started in 3rd. He finished in 3rd, but he did lead 28 laps. But then you did have, like, Logano started 7th, finished 4th. Bubba started 14th, finished 5th. Chastain started 17th, finished 6th. Cindric started 16th, finished 7th. Those guys with their place differential definitely made a difference. Only 200 laps. So if you have a guy that leads 171, which good chance somebody leads a good chunk, probably a guy who starts in the front row, when take that into account. Whoever starts 23rd likely is going to be a pretty solid driver that just didn't get it done in the the practice session that was qualifying. I mean, maybe you end up getting down to the 22nd or 23rd guy in points from last year, but probably not. So if you get a Blaney type, look what he was able to do last year from the back. So a lot of different ways you can kind of look at playing these guys.
And keep in mind, too, that this is a quarter-mile short track. This isn't a half mile. It's not 3/4 mile. This is literally the length of what you could not get through when you were in high school. Think about how tough it was for you to run that quarter mile in high school. That's what these guys have to do in driving 2 wide sometimes. And we saw 3 wide with Kyle Busch throwing it in there 3 wide last year, too. But yeah, these guys are getting around what's the equivalent of a high school track. So yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, and TK with a good point too. Yellow flag laps do not count. So if somebody's leading, those yellow flag laps won't rack up because they stop counting. So you won't get credit for those. But that helped Blaney a ton because they kept getting cautions, couple spots caution, couple spots caution. That helped him get up there, right? So obviously that driver that starts 23rd would need that again. But it is capable to pass here. It's not just a complete, you can't pass. Everybody's going to finish where they start. We saw a good enough, and you're going to get some wrecks in there, some people that spin out, some people that go off track, stuff like that. It is, very much short track racing. So it's going to be good and fun. And DFS is going to be challenging, even though it's 200 laps, even though it's only 23 drivers. It's not going to be easy to just pick out the right lineup.
Yeah, no, and again, you're going to see some vendettas being settled on that too. Again, I bring up Kyle Busch because he was a perfect example of a guy that really had some scores to settle. So what we do is what we always do is we'll give you our favorite high price, mid-tier, and low price drivers for the slate. You can use all 6 if you want in a lineup. If we, I think we actually did that where we can make all 6 of them in a lineup this time around. You went kind of low in your mid tier, so I think we can fit all 6 in there. But you don't have to. You could pick and choose, just like everything we do on this show. We give you the menu. You order what you like.
They might not all make the race, Rod.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. They might not all make the race. So, but if they do,
if they do, part of the reason I saved a lot of money in the middle, because I'm spending a lot of money at the top. The one driver we know is locked into the race. It's Kyle Larson, 10,500. Look, I've chosen to be on the Kyle Larson bandwagon this weekend, and I feel really good about it. Again, there's not really many drivers better than Larson, especially on short tracks. Yes, Ryan Blaney, over the last 3 years rather, does have an 8.8 average finish to Kyle Larson's 8.9, but Larson edges him out in every other statistic. 4 wins, 11 top 5s, 14 top 10s, 1,442 laps led. That's twice as many as Ryan Blaney at 717 in that same time frame. Kyle Larson, especially when he has a good race, and this is just a general Kyle Larson rule at any track, right? When he has a good race, it's usually a pretty good race, and he gets things done. So Captain Shook last year shakes it off enough to win the championship, despite a slow end of the season, not winning anything after the Indy 500 incident and all that. But very, very good on short tracks. 5th place at Martinsville in the fall there. 6th place at Richmond last year. He won at Bristol in the spring. 5th at Martinsville. 3rd at Martinsville. 1st at Bristol. Again, short track races. Martinsville, 24. 2nd place. 3rd place at Richmond, 24. 5th at Bristol. 6th at Martinsville in 23. 2nd at Bristol. 2 wins at Martinsville and Richmond in 23. A 2nd place, Martinsville in 22. And leading lots and lots of laps at these races. 462 laps at Bristol, 411 laps at Bristol. Again, that's a little bit of a farther comp from this one, but 144 laps led at Richmond, 71 at Martinsville, another 71 at Martinsville. He's had some really good races. He's a great race car driver. I don't think there's much of a reason to look past him this weekend. I think he is the highest priced driver on DFS, 10,500, if I didn't mention that. But he's been very, very good on short tracks. And I think he's going to come out and have a good weekend as he starts the defense of his crown. We saw him, limp into the end of last season, but he's been busy all off season doing his racing stuff. I think he's going to show up ready to go in this race, and we see a good side of Kyle Larson.
I think it'd be hard for you to cash in a cash game, especially if you don't have at least one, if not several lineups with Kyle Larson in it, because he's going to be heavily played. And look, if you get into a cash game and pretty much everybody like 80% rostered, or, that's probably on the high side of things. But even if he's like 70% rostered and you're playing a 50-50, or you're playing where you have to kind of get in the third of the field to cash, it's difficult to have that without Larson in there. And I agree with you, Cody. This is one where he's locked in, so there's not a need to go out there and kill yourself to try to really, kind of put yourself in harm's way early on in the practice session. So you just go out there, you lay down fast laps, and hope you put yourself in a position where you don't have to try to use that provisional either.
Yeah, and I think, Chase Elliott's the second highest priced guy on the board. And not that I'm against Chase Elliott, but I think that he's going to be popular. I think that people might look at him over Larson because he did lead so many laps last year, because he won. Yes, that was great. It was an awesome effort, all that stuff. But Elliott just isn't the type of guy that, like, oh, he was good there last year, he's going to be good there this year. You just have to hit Elliott when you hit him right, and maybe it works again, but I have more faith in Larson doing it than I do in Elliott doing it. So I think people will get cute and go with the Elliott Blaney overtaking a Larson because, well, Blaney's got the best short track stats, and not that he's bad. I talked about it in the betting episode. I think he's a great DFS play, but they're going to fall maybe into that and leave Larson off of there, when I don't think this is a weekend to leave Larson off.
So, yeah, and then, of course, the gambler's fallacy and all, and that past events dictate future results, and that's not always true. Yeah. But I will say that you just shat all over Ryan Blaney.
No,
but
I tried to nicely say whatever. I agree with you.
You treaded lightly on.
I gave him out for a top 3 bet. That means he's going to be a good DFS play, Rob.
Well, there you go. See, and there it is. So DFS play wise, Ryan Blaney, $10,200, up there with Kyle Larson in one of the more expensive areas of this field. However, again, with Ryan Blaney, you just talked about his short track prowess. He's obviously the best short track racer over the last 3 years since February of 2023. That 8.8 average finish for him in 18 races. He's got 3 wins, 9 top 5s, 11 top 10s. I mean, he's only finished outside of the top 10 in 7 short track races since 2023, which is incredible. I mean, you look at last season, Martinsville, a runner-up finish there in the fall, Bristol 4th place, Richmond 3rd place, Iowa 4th place, Bristol 5th place in the spring, an 11th place at Martinsville in the spring of 2025, but he had won Martinsville in the fall of 2024 to kind of make up for that as well. So Ryan Blaney, just again, a great short track racer. He proved it last season, driving from dead last up to 2nd place on this very track. And all things being equal, I don't know that he's going to have to do that again, but I will say that a good, strong, solid finish out of Ryan Blaney is enough to kind of cover this price off. And if he does drive fast and qualifies well in that 3rd session of whatever practice session he's in, then you're probably in for maybe him leading some laps too. And he's the kind of guy that can end up leading laps on this one. He's led 717 laps on short tracks since February of 2023, which is right up there with the Kyle Larsons and Denny Hamlins of the world. In fact, it's really Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and then Ryan Blaney in 3rd place in that entire equation. So for me, this is really just sticking with, I understand, Cody made a fantastic point of people are going to flock to Ryan Blaney, but I feel like there's still good reason to flock to Ryan Blaney, because if he does come out and has a quality day, and again, this could be another, I don't know a lot of players that play in the one single entry anymore. I feel like most people are playing in the 100 entries or whatever, but you have to line up at least a third of your entries with Ryan Blaney. That way you're covered in case he does come out and smash everybody. And, I don't want to leave myself uncovered if he does.
No, my point was more they're going to flock to Elliott over Larson by pairing them with Blaney, which I think is a good pairing. I think that Larson and Blaney are going to put down fast laps. Like, honestly, this change in format probably helps them get good starting spots because they're going to be fast cars. They're great race car drivers. They're going to be intentional about going out and laying down quick laps at the right time and the right, whatever. So I expect both these guys to be good. I love the Ryan Blaney play. If I was power ranking drivers coming into this race, Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney is probably 2 on that list at this track in particular. So, I love the Ryan Blaney play. I wasn't trying to shit on him earlier. I was just trying to offer an example of how they might not take Larson and go with Elliott by pairing him with a Blaney, because I think the Larson-Blaney comparison will be better. And I think that's a great way to kick off your DFS, having 2 strong guys like that. Maybe one starts well, the other doesn't. That's great because you can play them that way. Maybe they both start up front and exchange the lead. You each lead 100 laps, finish 1-2. That'd be ideal, right? So, but I think they both will have strong days.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just when you're putting 2 of the best short track drivers out there, it's hard not to go with them. In fact, as far as driver rating is concerned, on short track since 2003, Blaney is 3rd as well. Larson with Hamlin with 106.9, Larson with 105.8, and then Ryan Blaney 99.1. So, yeah, again, like I said,
one more point on Ryan Blaney, bro.
Oh my God, the stash! Oh,
look at
yes.
the mustache. Look at the mustache and tell me Ryan Blaney is a bad DFS play. You can't do it. It's not possible.
No, you cannot. In fact, it's funny. My youngest loves like firefighters and mustaches, right? But that's kind of where we're at in life now. Right? 15 years old. It's the mustache. Yep. I showed her Ryan Blaney's mustache, and she already likes Ryan Blaney, right? Ryan Blaney's one of her favorite drivers.
Now he's really her favorite driver.
I'm gonna have to watch out if I ever take her to a NASCAR race.
Be careful.
I'm gonna have to get a restraining order against her with Ryan Blaney. It's that serious. But all right. Now that we've thoroughly discussed all of this, and my youngest is probably gonna go run and hide, she's gonna crash out on us. Let's talk some mid-tier drivers. But before we do any of that, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you formally about our friends over at Underdog. Underdog is your home for pick'em entries where you can win up to 5,000x. Underdog, bringing the playoff magic all playoffs long. Every playoff weekend, open the Underdog app to see what promos are waiting for you. Looking now at Underdog Fantasy, that JSN anytime touchdown or rushing and receiving touchdown. How about lower than? I'm going to take Cody's word for it. You can take the lower than the half of a rushing and receiving touchdown over there on Underdog Fantasy. Or if you want to take his lower than 92.5 receiving yards, I can tell you could do that as well, because JSN had that huge game against the Rams. 153 yards. But before that, the Niners locked him down, 19 yards in their playoff matchup, 84 yards in the one before that, 72 yards against the Carolina Panthers. What? Yeah, JSN probably not going for 94 yards this time. So take the lower than on JSN. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $75 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. How about Rhythm? Our friends over at Rhythm have crushed the NFL this season, especially on props. Last season, they were even better in the playoffs. How about 22-12 on reception props? Doesn't do it for you? How about 21-13 on rush attempt props? Yes, they are that good. Super easy to sign up to, run predictions off the house model, or you can make your own and play with the sliders, because who doesn't love playing with sliders every once in a while? I will say that you can go on there also and get a little backup for your JSN props. Get all the model love for that as well. If you're looking to go premium, use promo code SGPN25 and you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm, use promo code SGPN25. PSA, play with your own sliders. Don't play with anybody else's sliders. We just want to keep you safe out there in this world. All right, Cody, let's take a dip down into the mid-tier drivers who we don't have to play with sliders to figure these folks out. These guys are going to save you a little bit of money. And like Cody said, right, he's going to save a little money on that one as well. And yes, Sari Pico, that gives you straight up 80s porn vibes.
Yes, Blaney could definitely have been a star in the 80s. No doubt about it. Austin Dillon, maybe not an 80s porn star, but he could be decent at short tracks, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Austin Dillon, $6,800. Again, probably one of those fringe, will he make it type of guys, but if he does make it, I like the upside that you have with him. He's been pretty good in the Clash previously. The last 2 years, not so much. Didn't necessarily turn in good runs. Didn't actually make the show in either of those years, but second place here in 23 in the Coliseum, which again, very similar track to Bowman Gray this weekend, and third place in 2022. So 2 podiums. Talked about Kyle Busch on the betting episode yesterday, and now he had 3 podiums, 3 second place, or 3 podiums rather, at the Clash, at the Coliseum. So clearly RCR knows something about this, right? I remember somebody was chiming in yesterday. RCR 15 minutes away from Winston Salem there in Welcome with their camp, or with their shop. So close kind of home race for them, if you will, more so than the other teams. You like that angle of things. Austin Dillon is just one of those guys too, that he's not afraid to get up on the wheel. Think about Richmond, right? He'll knock you out of the way if that's what he needs to do to go win the race. So you can get that out of him in Richmond. A short track, which he's been very good at the last couple of years. Not a direct comparison, but led 107 laps there last year, won the race, led the 35, won the race in 2024 as well. And he's turned in some solid short track races, which you like to see. That's what you're looking for, right? 10th place at Iowa, 10th place at Bristol last year. He had a 7th place run at Martinsville. Of course, those couple of wins. So he's turned in some good runs. That's what I'm looking for in the Clash previously and on some short tracks previously as well. And we're going to have to save some money somewhere. So if he is one of those guys that makes the field of 23, I think he can go out, have a solid day. We've seen him, and again, be in an exhibition race, which guys give full effort, which guys might not as much. You're definitely going to get some of that. Dillon's shown us multiple times before. He is going to give full effort. He's going to go for it, and he's capable of second, third place finishes at a similar style of track in the similar situation. So Austin Dillon could be a little bit of a sneaky play on the lower end of the mid-tier guys at $6,800.
Well, and what's funny is that if you go to our friends over at iFantasy Race, Ryan's got this set up to where it's NASCAR quarter-mile oval short track average finishes, and like right at the top is Austin Dillon. Now, it's a little deceiving because he only adds that third and second place finish both in LA. Doesn't have anything from the 2024 LA race or Bowman Gray, but he leads all drivers in quarter miles.
When he makes it to the show, he finishes well. If he doesn't make it, you're not going to play him anyway. So that's a good way to look at it.
It really is too. So I like that a lot. All right. My low price driver is, drum roll, please, Connor Zilisch. This is where I'm opening up.
Am I going to have to turn into the Connor Zilisch hater now? Even though I love, see, that's the problem. I can't do it because I love the kid.
That's what I'm saying. And here's why. Okay. So listen, allow me to present my case, counselor.
Please do. I don't like this case already.
thank you. That's fine. And you don't have to. You can prosecute it or you can cross-examine it after we're done. Cross-examine the DFS play. Look, I'm not saying that he's going to go out and he's going to win this race. I'm not saying that he's going to go out and he's going to finish top 5 in this race. But what I do expect for him to do is struggle early, right, to get a grip on this car. And I'm expecting a lot of things to happen to where he can capitalize it, because let's not get this twisted. Okay. This quarter-mile track has a lot of characteristics of road courses in that you are heavy braking. You are not going top speed for very long. And all you have to do is outbrake drivers, and road course racers can do this, right? I mean, and look, I know Shane Van Gisbergen has not necessarily turned his road course prowess into great short track racing, but he's also coming from an entirely different continent, let alone an entirely different of racing, right? And so Connor Zilisch has at least had more oval experience in his life than Shane Van Gisbergen, right? Granted, it's not equivalent, it's not Cup Series, but here's where you take a stab on him, right? You're not going out placing a top 3 bet on Connor Zilisch. You're not going out placing an outright bet on Connor Zilisch. You are taking a GPP dart, throwing it on a kid with the most talent that we've seen since, well, I'm not going to say his name, but since a certain guy that came up from the O'Reilly series and, you know, and did this. But I will say that there's no bad reason or there's no good reason to just entirely leave him off just for the sake of he's a rookie. He's not going to do well, because guess what? This is an exhibition race. There's a lot for him. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain in this position. He's in a brand new car. And we talked about how Trackhouse has actually done well on this particular style of track, where Ross Chastain, right, an average finish of 9.7 on this track as well. And then SVG got a top 10 finish in this race last year, right? So the possibility is there. He's on a good enough team to do it. And I feel like if there's a race where he could just come out and gain 5 or 6 spots for you, 7 or 8 spots for you, he's probably going to start toward the back. Like, let's not get it all. He's not going to start in the front. And even if he does, maybe he stays in the front. So I'm just saying I'm looking for a few place differential points out of him and a nice solid DFS day from Connor Zilisch. It's not like I'm asking the moon, but we roster guys like Cody Ware all the time. Like,
well, yeah, that's different in a full field race. You're trying to survive chaos. I don't know.
This one too. This is exactly why too. And Sparox has it right.
I don't think this is right, though. I don't think he's going to be low on, because I think everybody's riding his dick coming into the season. Oh, my God, he's the greatest thing ever. It's better than sliced bread. Oh, he's just going to win all 36 races. Like, he's not. He's going to struggle. He's going to get bullied on a small track like this. Maybe it's by Ty Gibbs, like TK points out. But I don't think he's going to make the big show, Brad. We'll see, because it's on qualifying time, so maybe he makes it. But I'm really not interested in playing Zilisch at all. The adjustment from going from O'Reilly, Xfinity at the time, to the Cup Series, we see this with every single rookie in recent history, in the current form and state of racing. It is just hard. It's difficult. And I just don't see it. I don't see it being a quick, easy transition for him. He's going to struggle. A short track like this, he should be, as a rookie, not wanting to ruffle any feathers. Don't go out there and ruffle feathers. I'm not a hater, man.
It's not, and that's the funny part about it.
That's what's so funny is I love the kid. I think he really is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, he's gonna be good. Just you got to give it time first. It's the same thing with Ty Gibbs. You know how big of a Ty Gibbs fan I am. You know how much I love Ty Gibbs. You know how much money we made on him in the Xfinity series at the time. But when they listed him at 1.5 wins in his rookie season, it was like, it's not going to happen. And now we're 4 seasons into it, and he's not won in the first 3 seasons. You look back and it's like, oh my God, they listed it at what? But at the time, it was the same conversation, right? And that's why I just think we're going to see a slower adaptation period. And so I'm going to come off as a hater, but it's more of, and if he proves me wrong, great. I would love to see it. I love the kid. I think he's going to be outstanding. I think we got to wait to see it. So I'm not on him. If you want to be on him with Rod, best of luck to you.
I was going to say, this is not a Hocevar and Gibbs type of a situation for me. Like, I truly despise both. And so Cody actually likes Zilisch, but is trying to make the case against him.
That's the biggest problem I have, is because I love the kid. I think he's great. We got to pump the brakes early. It'll get there. It'll get there quick, I think. Next year we might be talking about how great he is and everything. But yeah. Oh well. See, you fell for it with Ty Gibbs a couple of years ago. Don't fall for it with Zilisch this year. That's all I'm saying. All
but
right,
DFS,
Rod.
One dart on a
Yes,
GPP is not going to make a difference.
DFS is different.
See,
if you like a dart, I still don't like the dart, but oh well. Speaking of darts, I'm going to throw a low tier dart. So I guess part of my not only playing Larson at the top, obviously being interested in a guy like Blaney. That's kind of why I went lower in the mid tier. I don't want to go super low in the race because the guys like JJ Yaley, Chad Fincham, Burt Myers, these guys are unlikely to even make the race. So you're going to have to step up a little bit in your, in your pool anyways to get more expensive drivers. If one of those guys were to make the race, I don't see them doing much in the main event. So I want to stay a little higher on the low end of things, I guess what I'm trying to say. John Nemechek, $6,400. He's the perfect guy for that. Didn't make the main event last year, so we don't have that to look at. 2024 is the only other time he in recent history has had a chance at the Clash because he wasn't a full-time driver before that in the Cup Series all the way back to 2020 or whatever. So, and I think at that time, where were we doing? We were still doing Clashes at Daytona in 2020?
Yeah.
Probably. So, would be irrelevant anyways, old car, all that stuff. But the one time we did see him make the main event in 2024 at the Coliseum, again, similar style of track, started in 21st, good, near the back, not going to lose you a lot of points, finished in 13th. That's a solid day. That's all I want from John Nemechek. We've seen the progression of this team with him, with Eric, how much they've continued to step up. Jimmy continues to sink money into this program. They continue to get better and better. I think they're both going to be much more improved this year. We're going to be betting on this team a lot throughout the year, both John Hunter and with Eric Jones. And, I'm going to take my first stab right here in DFS with John Hunter. If he does make the race, hopefully he's not starting too well. He'll be starting a little farther back. He'll have some place differential for you. I like it. So give me John Hunter Nemechek, a nice, cheap, easy $6,400.
I know that Jimmy's going to be in Daytona in 2 weeks, but boy, would I love to see him in the Clash. I want to see him full time again. I don't, I'm not asking for much, Jimmy.
I don't
Just
think
come out
you do, though. I don't think you do, Rod. I think little bits of Jimmy at this point in time with what we have is probably better than a full season of watching him. But I mean, to think back to the end of the 48 car, like for as great as he was and as amazing as he was, it was so bad at the end. I don't think you want that again. It'd be worse now.
I've got rose colored glasses.
I know you do, and that's why I try to pull you.
That's
why I try to pull you down. It would be fun for the story of it. I don't think it would be fun every week. It'd be like watching Richard Petty or Darrell Waltrip at the end of their careers. Like they just outlasted, their peak so much. They were so good for so long, and then Richard Petty at the end of his career was horrible. Darrell Waltrip was only making races because they allowed past champions provisionals, and he wasn't doing anything. And so it was almost like, it's sad to see them hang on too long. That's why little bits of Jimmy. San Diego, that's great. That's fun. Daytona 500, got a top 10 last year. It's great. Not full time.
I fear that's what people will say of me in a couple of years.
We'll bring Rod onto the show once a week. It's not too much, but yeah, it's like Lee Corso. We'll prop him up. He looks good. We remember the good times. It's just not that way anymore.
Remember when Rod was just bringing it every week? It just feels like it's just not happening anymore with any. I just don't get it anymore.
All right, Grandpa, let's steer back this way. Take your meds. It's okay.
Remember when? All right. How about for my low price driver before I get herded off into the pasture to retire? I'm going to take Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And maybe I should retire after this. $5,500 for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Look, I when you're digging around at the bottom, a lot like Cody said, right? You're talking about guys that may not even end up making this race. And even if they did, I mean, I know you talked about Riley Herbst on the big show the other day, and we kind of thought that Riley Herbst could be a pretty good play, but I feel like he's either going to finish in the top 5 or he's just going to not make the show. Right. I mean, so I don't want to take that chance. And I feel like with Riley Herbst, whatever, but Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's another one of those guys that you got to pay attention to just in case he doesn't make it. But he did make it in 2022 in the first LA race and ended up finishing 13 in that instance. And then 16th in the 2024 LA race. Did not make the show last year. But, Ricky Stenhouse is one of those guys where you always bring him up at these super speedways because that's pretty much where you just bring up Ricky Stenhouse because he knows he's won a super speedway race. He's talked about in good drafting driver and everything like that. But he's just one of those drivers where you gamble on him. Well, I say gamble, but you probably just use him better in you gamble on him in DFS because you're either going to get a 13th place day out of him or you're not. Right. And so in DFS, it's a little bit easier to swallow because especially if he doesn't make the main event, you just swap him out for somebody that's in it and no harm, no foul. Well, when you're betting on a guy like that and you lose your bet because he doesn't perform for you, it hurts a lot more, right? It's one thing to lose one DFS lineup if Ricky Stenhouse goes and turns himself upside down in red. That's okay. It's because you probably got 4 or 5 other rosters out there that you're using and you're hedging with as well. So it's not so much a huge sting and you don't lose the entire bet. So that's why a guy like Ricky Stenhouse, like I said, if he gets you a 13th place finish, he probably started 20th. He probably started 18th, and that's going to get you some place differential. And when they have to feel, when there's only 23 cars, every place differential point counts in this instance. So for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., it's not rocket science. It's just me legitimately just saying he's a warm body at a price that you just can't pass up, and you can fit a lot of high price drivers that are going to go out and be top 3, top 5, or maybe even win this race. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr., my low price driver.
You want to talk about guys that are going to be low rostership? Ricky's definitely on that list. I mean, there's not a lot that's attractive about Ricky when you're not at a super speedway, and that's just how it is. But he can deliver good, solid races. He's a very good race car driver. So yeah, I think he is an under the radar guy. Unlike Zilch, that would be a good cheap play, Rod. So and TK checking in, Rowdy. Plug your ears if you're listening, buddy. Kyle Busch is already an example of what you don't want to see from JJ. We could be getting to that Richard Petty, Darrell Waltrip level with Kyle Busch unless he wins this weekend at 40-1.
God, I hope he wins at 40-1. I want one.
That'd be a great way to start the season.
Seriously, I want one more good season out of Kyle Busch. I think the sport deserves it.
It's one of those things where you'd love to see him just like John Elway, right? Win the championship and drop the mic. Boom! I'm going to the Truck Series now, and I'm going to race with Brexton.
Indeed. Oh, that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome.
That'd be great to see him. Him. I do hope we get that him full time in the Truck Series, going for championships where he's the older guy and not quite the dominant Kyle Busch we once had, but he still competes a lot. He's not like Matt Crafton old, but yeah, I hope we get that like middle where he's just competitive every week and it's fun. And then Brexton comes up. It could be exciting.
Could very well be exciting. I know TK is talking about Ricky needs another pre-host of our points run for this year, but assuming it doesn't happen, do you think Ricky is out of the ride soon now that the win in you're in is gone?
I think Ricky, I don't know. I guess I don't know with that team ownership what they want necessarily because it is a new, the Hayek team now that's newer. But Ricky's a very solid driver. Like he just delivers you good results. He gives you that opportunity to win races at drafting tracks. So you have those 6 opportunities every year. A team like that shouldn't expect to make the chase anyways. There's not a driver really you're going to put in that car that would take that ride that's going to put them in the playoffs. He seems like a good ambassador for sponsors. He has the great tie-ins with like NOS. They've been, because they're with him on the sprint car side of things and with his team over there. So he's got those partnerships that transcend. And I think he's fairly popular with fans, especially dirt track fans, because he does have those ties. And dirt track fans are very partial to their drivers, guys like Kyle Larson, Casey Kane back in the day, stuff like that. So I don't view Ricky as like a hot seat guy. He's just one of those guys that you know what you're getting out of him, and you shouldn't expect more in that car anyways.
Indeed. Speaking of sponsors, though, I'm wondering if IKEA is building Carson Hocevar's vehicles coming up this season. I know it's on the hood, but do we have to assemble them at home?
Maybe you do. But it's an IKEA Best Buy. So IKEA and Best Buy have teamed up. So I don't know if you're building your own electronics or what they have. I guess it's like a test store in Daytona. That's IKEA plus Best Buy, which is an interesting. If you're picking 2 stores, that's an interesting crossover. So yeah, Hocevar's been added to the Truck Series. We didn't even talk about that. What a loaded field that Truck Series race at Daytona is. That might be better than the Daytona 500 with all the names. Guys like Tony Stewart in that race, Travis Pastrana, Stenhouse is it. Like it's a loaded field. That's going to be a ton of fun.
We've talked about the fact that this is going to be a very entertaining truck season anyway. So if you're going to start it off with all those big names taking the green flag, then
Speaking of trucks, if you have not watched the Ram series, what's it called? Ram Race for the Truck or something like it's something. Just type it in. Race for the Ride, I think is what it's called. Type it in. You can watch the full episodes on YouTube, so you don't have to worry about. I mean, it's been airing on FS1 too, but go watch it on YouTube. I've through the first 2 episodes. It's really fucking good. There's a lot of racing. They're racing legend cars, go-karts, stock cars, like all, road courses, small tracks, everything. It's really fun. You kind of get to know these drivers. It's a pretty good series. I'm kind of excited to see how that which one of these guys ends up coming out on top. It's I've really enjoyed it.
And which ones we end up bringing up on the episodes, right? Because we'll talk about them in gambling and DFS versions of it. So
exactly.
All right, get out your pen and paper for the first time DFS-wise this season. We're going to go over our drivers for your slate. Cody started you off with his high-price driver, which was Kyle Larson at $10,500. I said Ryan Blaney at $10,200 would be my high-price driver. Cody dropped down to Austin Dillon at $6,800 for his mid-tier driver. I said Connor Zilisch, much to Cody's consternation, at $7,400 was my mid-tier driver. And then, of course, Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek at $6,400 for his low-price driver. I said Ricky Stenhouse Jr., $5,500, my low-price driver. Make sure you keep an eye out to make sure these guys actually make the race, make the main event. So that's a big one.
Yeah, and again, this will just be for that race. The last chance qualifier, you don't get points for that, nothing. It's just the 200-lap main event, the 23 drivers. That's what it will be. So, pay attention while you're putting in the lineups. They're usually pretty good on these types of races of marking guys out as they have been eliminated, stuff like that. But with a potential time crunch or whatever, just pay attention, check the actual starting lineup, and make sure you're getting guys in there. So race for the seat, by the way. Thank you, Willow. We'll get it right one of these days. But well, Rod, the next time we talk to you all will be the first recap show of 2026. And it will be a live call-in show. So, a couple of things. Subscribe to the YouTube, click the bell. We don't know what day this race is going to be on, what time this race is going to be on. So, just click the bell, and then you'll get notified when we go live to recap the race. And join the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Very easy, little purple-looking app on your phone. It's super simple. You join there. That link will take you into our Discord. Jump in the NASCAR channel there. That's where you'll have the opportunity to click on the phone call thing. It's essentially just a phone call through that app. So once we have it set up, we'll explain to you on the show. You click on that, you'll request to talk. We'll bring people up as we kind of go through it, get your opinions, hear your takes on the race, what you liked. When Carson Hocevar dumps Connor Zilisch for the win, it's going to be super fun. We'll all react to that. It's going to be great. Subscribe on the YouTube, click the bell, sg.pn/Discord. Get over there, get set up, kind of get familiar with that. And that's where we'll be taking the calls live. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' voices. We've seen for years the typing and all the words on this side of the screen, but I'm anxious to hear voices. I'm anxious to hear
voices to the names. That will be interested. Kramer was talking when I was on the main SGP show. He's like, we need to get somebody with accents or whatever. And I'm thinking TK in the chat all the time, like these guys from down under. Like he's like, oh, that's gonna be so perfect. What if it gets delayed to the point when you normally do an episode? Like if we have a Tuesday race, everything's just kind of up in the air. Currently, we probably run with our normal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next week is very flexible, though. There's not a race next weekend, so it's going to be our Super Bowl / Daytona 500 crossover episode. Maybe we slide that to Wednesday if we need to or whatever, and then we'll have our 2 champion episodes, O'Reilly and Trucks combined, and then Cup champions as well. So we'll see. It just, again, stay subscribed to the YouTubes, the podcast platforms, all that stuff, and we'll just adjust as necessary based on when we do the race. If they don't race till Wednesday, you probably still get a Tuesday episode, and then we'll toss in the recap show on Wednesday or whatever. Like it's just all up in the air. So,
the best part, TK, about being the masters of our own fate here is that we can just decide whenever we want to do it. It's up to us. No one's telling us when we have to do it.
We do have that freedom. All the scheduling and stuff is all on our own. We're not told when. I mean, do the shows, do the pick show the week of the race, obviously, which is only time you'd be able to do it anyways. But outside of that, we do have kind of free reign, so it's nice.
Indeed. All right. Well then. And then Sarah Poco is Cody. Thanking you for the morning bet videos. Enjoy watching those.
Not been a lot of good bets lately, but
at least you're entertaining doing it, right? That's all.
Yeah, try to be. We're due for a win streak. It's coming. I feel it, friends.
And then Old Fashioned Football thanking us for another great show. Thank you for your shows, my friend. Go check out
Old Fashioned Football now. Yeah.
Yes, please do. All right, Cody. Well then, let's go do that. In fact, I'll go watch the rest of what I missed earlier from the show. In fact, I need to watch Justin's review of the cheap whiskey that he had tonight. So
Justin had a nice little AI video of me placing the bet on the Patriots on the show.
That was hilarious.
That was really funny. He'd sent me a video earlier in the week of something completely different. That's what I thought he was going to play. So he really threw me off throwing that one up there. That was pretty funny. But
so awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here, Rod.
Yes,
follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. Tons of stuff. Super Bowl bets. Lots and lots of Super Bowl stuff lately, especially with the Patriots in there. Daily bets, all that fun stuff. You can follow it all there. Appreciate it. Best of luck at the Clash this weekend, everybody. We'll see you for the live call-in recap show. Let's fucking go.
Follow me on Twitter, RJ Villagomez. You can find everything that I am up to, not nearly as much as Cody anymore. I don't know. I stopped doing all that stuff because I think I'm getting too old. But love you guys all. We'll see you next week for the live call-in show. Make sure you're getting in on the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. We want to hear from you. This is going to be the first of its kind, I think, in the betting landscape. So make sure we make this good. We'll start to see everybody else.
I would argue in the NASCAR landscape, I don't know of a call-in recap show.
Well, we're about to find out if this works. So we'll find out next week. We love you guys. All right, we'll see you next week. And until then, let's make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing and let it ride.
Another piece of